Good morning, people of YouTube. This is your buddy Choppadong once again with another recap rewind type video. We might even start calling these game balls and game checks because this is just kind of fun to go through the week at the end and kind of scroll through and see who made your day and who pissed you off. It's just kind of natural the way that it goes in the NFL. It changes up every week, and so let's kind of dive in. I got a lot of stuff to show you in a short period of time, a little bit of stuff to talk about. First things first, I love that you guys are starting to catch on to the videos and that you're starting to like and subscribe to the channel. Please keep doing that. That tells me what direction to head to share content and find people that are looking for a DFS site like the DFS Army. Guys that are coming in are getting a lot of value instantly and are saying, I've learned more in 2 weeks than I've learned in 2 years. And there's a lot of good positive energy going. So the site is growing. We love attracting new members. We love bringing people in. And really and truly, as all of us coaches and contributors on that site agree, we just want to help. We just want to make the world a better place. So if that's the type of place that you're looking for, you click on Twitter, you follow me and find me at Choppadong. It's really easy to find. Help me get to 5,000 followers, would you please? Because it's just continuing to grow and inch forward, helps reach more people, helps find more people, helps make our community better, helps make everybody else better as we teach and as we share the knowledge that we learn as we learn and just pass it along and pay it forward. That's just what we do. The best place to go is right here to the link in my profile, dfsarmy.com. Go check the website out. I'll show you a little bit of it here in a minute, but it's just a fun place to interact and have a lot of fun with a bunch of DFS-oriented people that are talking back and forth all week long, picking plays, shooting stuff out of the air, pumping other stuff up, and just talking about, talk a little bit of smack, like, we get to be friends. We just have fun. It's one big giant locker room with a couple of beers flowing and whatnot. It's a good place to have fun and learn DFS at the same time. Like I said, follow me on Twitter and let's get this thing going. The first thing to show you is to give myself a little bit of credibility. I talk about this ladder strategy all the time. This week, we had a sweep. Worked out really, really well. When you layer the 50-50s with the triple ups and quintuple ups and things like that, what you end up doing as you cross these barriers, 107, 109, 105, 108, somewhere between 105 and 110 was the 50-50 line on FanDuel last week. If you cross that line, it stands to reason that you're going to beat 50% of the world before you beat 70% of the world, before you beat 90% of the world, before you beat 99% of the world, right? So we layer our contests together. I have an article on the DFSarmy.com website called The Ladder System. Go to DFSarmy.com or follow my link. You'll find it eventually somewhere. It's just a way to layer these contests together, and that way I got sick and tired of watching this money line here and then end up placing 7th, 8th, or whatever out of 100 people, be way over here and only getting double my money. Put in $2, get out 4. I was like, ugh, that feels like such a waste for such a good lineup, for something that turned out to be a good score. So I started entering tournaments and GPPs and things like that, and I started going, okay, so it's either 108 or 132 to make money in these. All my shit was falling in the middle. And I got sick of it. It's like, well, I either got to do a 108 or I got to go all the way to 132. I'm always ending up somewhere between 108 and 130. I got to get paid for that. So I discovered the triple ups. Down here, the line got to 122. I was hitting those quite a bit. 127, I would hit those some. And this is actually a little bit tighter spread than usual. So I'm sitting here going, how can I put these contests together? And so that my lineup, as it continues to go to the right on this scale, it unlocks money here and then unlocks money here and then unlocks money here, and it grows. And it because I'm not going to win an 80,000 person tournament. I'm just not. I can win a 100-person tournament going away. That only for me to beat 99 other people in a 100-person tournament, I only need to create a lineup that is in the top 1% of the world, that beats 99% of the world. I can do that. Beating 79,999 people out of 80,000, hello, might not happen in my lifetime. It's like winning the lottery. I have to put together that crazy funky lineup that just goes off, and that goes against what I teach and what I do. Generally, look at the people I picked. Deshaun Watson, chalk, right? DeAndre Hopkins, chalk. Ryan Griffin, fairly chalky because it's a tight end going against Cleveland, right? Washington's kicker, cheap chalk. New Orleans Saints was my kind of my wild hair up my butt pick, but they were at home, and Matt Stafford's been turnover yeah, got lucky as hell. Lucky as hell. That's sometimes what it takes to win these things. But if you look at the foundation of this lineup, Watson, Gurley, good spot. Fournette, good spot. Keenan Allen, cash safe most times. Adam Thielen, great spot with Diggs out. DeAndre Hopkins paired with Deshaun Watson. Ryan Griffin paired with Deshaun Watson. What we have is a ton of chalk sitting in this lineup, and we're pairing it up with a couple of guys for some correlation. Throw a touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins, guess who? I get double whammy points. Throw one to Ryan Griffin, double whammy points. There was a scenario in which Deshaun Watson could have had big games with both those guys, and I scream up the leaderboard. As it is, look, Keenan Allen didn't do much for me. You know, Ryan Griffin didn't do much, but he was cheap. My kicker didn't necessarily go off. DeAndre Hopkins didn't do anything for me. Todd Gurley didn't do much for me. Why'd this lineup do so well? Because it was just the safe plays, the cash safe plays. That foundation boosts me up over this 50-50 line quite often. And then if I end up hitting something crazy, like this New Orleans Saints defense, wham, I go right to the front of the class. I don't got to beat the world. I didn't need all these other, players to be nutmakers. All I needed was one good play out of this lineup and the rest of it to be solid. And bam, here I am printing money. This is what I try to teach people inside the Army. This is the conversation that we're constantly having. How do I layer my contests appropriately so that when I beat 50% of the world, I unlock double my money? And at least what that does is this front half here pays for the bottom half here. This safe section pays for this gambling upside section. I put a bunch of money in this, a bunch of money. It's $5, whatever. But a bunch of money, a bunch of my percentage of my outlay in this, and then play with this. This is what I'm going to hit the most often. This is what I'm going to spend most of my time working towards getting to in a score. But then sometimes I accidentally miss with some luck-ass play, and boom, it starts unlocking all this other stuff. So I'm playing for free a lot because I put in, $5, $6 and get out $5 or $6. And then the rest of this is house money. If I end up getting across this barrier, bang, it unlocks, well, that was a wrong order. But I put in $2 here into the triple up. It gets to this barrier next. After it crosses the 50-50, it goes to the triple up. Boom, unlocks 6 more bucks. There's my profit. $6 profit because the rest of this was all break even. Put in, $5, $6, get out $10, $11, right? I spent 11 on the lineup. Unlock $6 of profit. Goes over the next barrier, only 5 points away. Doesn't matter if I get 128 points or 235 points. It doesn't matter. I'm getting the same $10 out, but boom, there's 10 more dollars. Now I'm up $16. Because if it crossed that line, it certainly crossed that one. Up $16. Gets into the 100-man where the top 12 pay. I don't care if it does well in there. I want it to. But if I put together a lineup that does well there, then it crosses this barrier, and then it's knocking on the door of this one. And once it goes into this one, it goes bang, bang, bang. Starts off at an additional $3, gets $4, whatever. That's $4 extra of profit. I'm cool with that. But if it goes all the way and wins, and I produce that top 1% lineup, it unlocks $25. And 25 on top of 16, is what, $41 more or so? So I put in 11 and I get out $41 worth of profit, so it returns $56 or so. Now I can also layer these triple ups with leagues, and I do that with 10-man leagues, 20-man leagues. I'm going to beat 20 people before I beat 100 people, and I'm going to beat 100 people before I beat 1,000 people. The next layer I would add to this for guys that really want to gamble on the upside is put in that smaller GPP of 1,100 people, 2,500 people. What you don't know, maybe you do hit one of those. And then on top of that, go for the big one. Go for the 50,000 person tournament because your ass is covered right here. As I continue to grow and add upside events, I add more of this 50-50 stuff. Why? Because if I win this 100-man contest right here, I placed 4th. All right, let's just take this scenario. I placed 8th, sorry. If I place 8th in this 100-man contest, I created a top 8% lineup. I'm looking at all these other cash lines in the rearview mirror, baby. I mean, the 50-50 was a foregone conclusion. That happened a long time ago. The triple up got crossed. The quintuple up got crossed. You know, now we're cruising into the 100-man stuff. And then if we go higher, we go higher and we go higher. Great, that can happen. But as we're doing that, we add more of these safer contests because these safer contests pay for these riskier contests. Is it a coincidence I put in a $2 50-50 and put in a $2 quintuple up? No. I hit this, that one's paid for. If I hit this one, that one's paid for. If I hit this one, that one's paid for. It doesn't make that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to aim for these and miss by still hitting these. I aim for these contests. So this is just the teaching that goes on day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. Bankroll management, contest selection, build safe cash foundation type lineups, and take a few shots. Okay, I can't beat it into anybody's heads any clearer than this. Let's move on because you want more details, you become a VIP, you contact me, I'll spend the time with you, we'll bring you up to speed, I'll teach you the method. This is almost can't miss. It only misses when you fall just short of this 50-50 line. And yeah, that happens. It does. It happens. And it sucks. But when you end up with a week like this, it makes up for what I make up for, 2 or 3 missed ladders. Fine, whatever. I just bought myself 2 more weeks of fantasy football if I only build one lineup at a time. This is ultimately about keeping your bankroll intact long enough to continue to play this game until you hit these scores here. That's all that is. It's all this is. You use these other contests as your payment for these bigger shots that don't come through very often. Okay? So, actually, let me lend a little bit of credibility to the DFS Army. We put together these things all the time. This is a hockey score, okay? 29 in, 93 out. This is 35 in, 674 out on a small Monday through Thursday slate in football. I'm showing you, there's his lineup. It's started. It's not, this one was finished, this one's starting, whatever. Point is, we get down into here. Now, which one's this one? This one is baseball. A little miniature ladder. Guys are picking up on this strategy to where he goes in for 5, it comes out at 10. Then he puts a buck in here and a buck in here. Wham, hit them both. $2.50 here, $3 here. It doesn't matter what your bankroll is. It doesn't matter what contest you play. You play for $1, you play for $10, play for $100. I don't care. The ladder strategy works. Put in 5, 6, $7, got 15.5 out. Would you be comfortable with that? You got more than the double up by hitting some of these little upside contests. That's what the ladder does. And that was baseball, which is a fluky sport. Here's another one. This one's basketball, preseason basketball. All right, in with 5, out with 20. More basketball. The Army wins, guys. That's what I'm showing you. Now, we're sitting here on hockey again. Laddering in hockey. See the quintuple ups and the content. Boom, 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 boom. In for 30, out for 90. I mean, triple up is modest. Is it life-changing money? No. But does it grind up a bankroll and allow you to take bigger and bigger and bigger shots as your bankroll grows? You start off with $100, it becomes $200, it becomes $250, whatever. Now instead of playing $10 a slate, you're playing $20 a slate. With that $20, instead of sprinkling in, some triple ups and quintuple ups and then maybe 1 tournament or 2, now with $20, you can sprinkle in maybe 3 or 4 tournaments and take bigger and bigger shots at things. Why? Because your ass is covered by the 50-50 side of the ladder structure. You've got the upside of the triple ups and quintuple ups still there, and you've just got more room to add another double up, and then boom, take a shot at a bigger tournament. Add another double up, take a shot at an even bigger tournament. One of these days, you're going to hit a $150,000 winning lineup like we had a member do last week. And I'll show you another one that happened again this week. This happens every week, guys. You look at another one here, the NFL Pick'em contest. We're doing Pick'ems. How about that? Throw in a $3 contest, come out with $20. Not ashamed of that. Early only. Fine. We cover everything inside the Army, guys. We're showing people how to do everything. $750 on a $3 entry. Was almost winning 4K or so. $950 out, $6.50 in entry fees. Good day, right? Probably taking the missus out to dinner. If he's not taking the missus out to dinner, he's buying a wife for a night and he having hella fun. That's what this can do for you. Another one, 166, 85 in, 160, modest gain. Some guys play for $80, $100. Some guys play for $2. It doesn't matter here. Another one. Second place in a small GP, part of a ladder. $9 in, 95 out. Kudos. Awesome, Russ, man. Good score. 25 lineups out of 25 lineups cashing. 68 in, 188 out. Triple almost. Solid. I can show you this day in and day out. 99 in, 300 out. 12 in, 127 out. Some guys double up and triple up. Some guys go 10x, 12x, and occasionally swing for the fences and hit massive, money on the way in. Out with $950. Good for you. 39 in, 800 out. Happy day. Happy flight. Good solid bus ride to dinner. I'm saying, go buy a car. You don't need to ride the bus anymore, am I right? Modest. 6 in, 4 out. 4. I mean, guys, this is what happens inside the Army when you play fundamentally sound. $40 out with a score of 164, and he was disappointed because I saw it in Slack. Gronk smash, 40 in, 40 out. I mean, it's just, there's a ladder. Boom. Hits. There's the lineup. 5 in, 100 out. Last minute entry. Thanks for the Ingram help. That came out of Slack. We were saying he's due for a bounce back. Here's what I want to show you. Hunter is a contributor of sorts inside the Army. We love the guy's insight. The guy thinks a little bit outside the box and used to write for the site way back when he had more time. And it's a good guy to pick the brain of. Back-to-back years, he's got the King of the Beach qualifier locked up. Yes, he did it last year too. Okay? Went to Atlantis last year, going to Key West this year. This one was a sweat last night. We were hoping that the guy held on. A $7,000 payday is not bad for an all-expense paid trip to Key West. It's going to be at the live final again. You guys, this stuff happens. Something happens in the Army almost every week. Yes, we have our 7s in, 14s out. That is great. Why? It didn't lose. There's a guy barely crossed the money line. Great. You crossed it. Who gives a shit? We go down to today. $80 out. I mean, it's just ladder system working to perfection. 19 in, 70 out. Solid. Another $200 winner. It's just the way this Army goes, guys. It's what we do. I've got the credibility you need. The Army has the credibility you need. We're coaches. We're contributors. It's what we do. Yes, I'm a freaking shill for the site. I'll say it again. Why? Because it works, damn it. Get off the fence and get your asses in here. It works. Go to live scoring on Swish. That's one place you can look for live scoring. Let's give away some game balls. First game ball, Kirk Cousins. Have a day. 25 of 37, 330 yards, 2 passing TDs. Nice dollar-for-dollar pivot off of Deshaun Watson, who had himself a day too. Good for you. Ryan Fitzpatrick, nobody played you. Josh McCown, nobody played you. Good scores. Trevor Siemian. Let's take away a paycheck, huh? Let's scroll down here a little bit. Matt Ryan, suck it. Where have you gone? Drew Brees, you're telling me your team put up 33 points and you threw for 186, 2 scores, and had 2 pick sixes? Fight me, dude. You're supposed to play better at home. Man, that shit hurts. If you rostered him, I'm sorry. He was in a great spot. He should have done better. I'm taking his paycheck away. The hell with you. You don't deserve to be in the NFL. Not my NFL. You suck. I'll probably play him next week. Running back, Melvin Gordon, Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram did the damage with a couple of scores, did he not? That's part of the thing. When I saw that happen, and I was like, oh, Drew Brees is not going to have a good day. All his touchdowns are going to Ingram. But Melvin Gordon, Mark Ingram, and Le'Veon Bell have a day. Frickin' A, man. Kansas City couldn't stop you for nothing. Melvin Gordon, a little off chalk. Good spot, off chalk. Are we believers? Melvin Gordon gets the work. Doesn't have a lot of competition when he's healthy. I don't know what this 83 attempts baloney, all this crap must be season-long numbers. But, you're looking at a guy who went for yardage and a couple of scores, receiving as well as on the ground. Then you scroll down here, Kareem Hunt is, he hits home runs, but you guys, what you see is what you see now. You know, he's going to get you 20 attempts, but he's also going to end up with, you know, struggling to get to 100 yards. If he gets limited on the ground, yeah, he can still hit home runs through the air. They're going to try it. They're going to feed him the ball. He's got a floor. You know, he's not going to hit his ceiling every week like he did the first 4 weeks. Whose paychecks? Oh, who am I leaving off? You know why I'm leaving him off? Because the dude's not on this freaking chart. Anthony or Adrian Peterson. I keep calling him Anthony Davis for that AD thing. AD, AP, whatever the hell it is. Dude had himself a day. 134 yards and 2 scores. Look what happens when you feed the dude 26 times. Now, am I high on the guy going forward? No. I think he's 32. I think he's trying to defy Father Time, and I think that he's going to have good games here and there if you time them. Now, I may change my mind in 3 weeks. I may look like an ass for saying this. But when you're 32 and you're old and you're going to get fed the rock 26 times a game, 2 things are going to happen. Either you still are the Anthony or Adrian Peterson, or you're old and you break down. I don't think the guy's going to be much. I just think Father Time's kicking him in the ass. I will tell you one thing about the guy, though. He's worth putting on your radar and he's worth watching. And I'll tell you another thing about the guy. He did not go home last night and beat any kids. Now, did he? Oh, sorry. Too soon? What are you going to do? Classless jokes are my thing. But have yourself a day, Adrian Peterson. Can't believe you're not on this list. How about we deduct Swish's paycheck for leaving him off the list? The other one I would take away is C.J. Anderson. Dude, seriously. What the whole Denver Broncos. I'm taking all y'all's paychecks away. You didn't show up to freaking the Giants. Come on. Oh, that was hard to watch. Wide receiver, Anthony. What am I doing with this Anthony crap? Antonio Brown, have a day, dude. Too bad Ben didn't have a day with you. My podcast call of the Ben Brown stack didn't work out. Ben Brown Bell would have worked out, other than Ben didn't help out much. Maybe he is washed up. He didn't have a terrible day, but he didn't have a good one. Not like I wanted. Larry Fitz had himself a predictable day. I didn't roster him because Larry Fitz is funny, man. It doesn't feel like he has that ceiling. He's got a hell of a floor. His price is up there enough that I feel like I got guys with more upside that have similar floors. And, of course, Larry Fitz went off last week. Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, they went off too. Good jobs, guys. Whatever. Michael Crabtree, is this guy cash safe or what? It just blows my mind. Now, the paychecks I'm taking away, freaking Julio. Me and Julio down in the schoolyard. Suck it, you crip hip. Get your walker out. Put the little tennis balls underneath the rollers on the end, man. I mean, you're so far down the list, I can't even find you. God, for your price, when are the sites going to start lowering his price? I'll play him if you put him at 6,000, 6,500. I won't play him when he's up there with Antonio Brown, because Antonio Brown can go into Kansas City and Patrick Peters, or whatever the hell his name is, and have 155 yards and a TD, do his little dance. Right? Julio sits there in his gimp freaking hip, doesn't get the ball thrown to him in the red zone, and then and still the same price. Pass, hard pass. I've been telling people for 3 weeks now, actually a couple of years. Julio ain't cash safe. He's going to have a game here or there, but he ain't cash safe. Antonio Brown is cash safe and matchup proof. Amari Cooper, what the hell? Taking your paycheck away. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead right now and take away next week's paycheck too, because you suck. Freaking dropsies. You suck bad. Michael Thomas, you're telling me that I know you may have got some Darius Slay, but you're telling me the Lions come into town who are not having that good of a year, and they come down to the Superdome, the freaking Coors Field of the NFL, and you're telling me that you can't do more than whatever the hell 5, 6, 7 points you put up? Suck it, man. You don't get a paycheck this week. You suck. Tight end, Gronk. Starts with Gronk. 2 weeks in a row, Gronk's been good. 10 targets, 83 yards, 2 TDs. Gronk, smash. There's Evan Ingram. Told you he was going to have another bounce back spot. ASJ having himself a nice couple of weeks in a row. Don't know that I'd get married to him, but, you know, he's having himself a good time. You know, when this guy down here gets you 12 and Gronk gets you 23, it was worth paying up for Gronk. But you know what? For 5,600, 12 ain't bad. Cash safe. Whose game check am I taking away at the tight end? Kelsey repaired some damage. Not like it's not great, but I mean you can't ball out every week. This right here, Martellus Bennett, dude, get the hell out. Backup quarterbacks are supposed to love their tight ends and their slot receivers, and what they do, they only threw to him 4 times, so it's a play calling issue too. But Martellus Bennett can't catch, which is a shame because he was beasting in Chicago. I thought going into Green Bay he would have, so I look like an ass on this one. I thought he'd have himself a good year. I know it's early, it's week 5, week 6, week 7, whatever. We're getting to about the halfway point. Dude ain't showing signs of nothing. Off the radar going forward. You're gone. Now, unless your price was $2,900 like Zach Miller, then I'd play you because I don't care. I only need 4 for 22 and I get what I need. Oh, defense, defense, defense. I think we're starting with the Saints, are we not? Have a day. You know what? The Saints, I'm going to give you get a game ball. And not only does the Saints D get a game ball, but you also get Drew Brees, Willie Snead, Kobe Fleener, Kamara, and Michael Thomas. You get all their paychecks. Divvy them up amongst yourselves. Go have a nice dinner. Oh, guess what? I'm going to throw in Sean Payton's paycheck too because you can't call plays for crap. God, you're awful right now. If your defense doesn't score 33 freaking points, DFS points, 18 points, touchdowns, take the ball away 3 times and score, you don't win that game. The New Orleans Saints defense that we all thought against Minnesota was the worst defense known to mankind is now looking like the best damn defense in the world after last week. We'll see how many people chase those points. And number 2, the New England Patriots defense, which we thought was good coming into the year, is one of the league worst. Well, they're starting to bounce back a little bit. They weren't completely brutal. Who was completely brutal? The ones that we think are the best defense known to mankind, freaking Denver Broncos. I'm taking your paycheck. I'm taking your paycheck away and I'm giving it to the New Orleans Saints too. That's how they earned it. They deserved it. Y'all didn't even show up. You're telling me every single player on Denver's team this week should be completely, including you, John Elway, you should all be damned embarrassed. You should all be completely embarrassed. Just fold up shop, skip your next week's game. That was gross. Eli Manning and the New York Giants come into your stadium, into the altitude, and whip your ass. Gross. Moving on, I'll show you one little thing I like to talk about. We bounce around, we try and time the market with the Saints D and with, Kirk Cousins this week and Carson Palmer next week. And you want to time the market, it's like buying and selling stocks. Go for it. But you're gonna time it wrong a lot. I show you this only because in season long, have you ever noticed when you draft a good season long team, it's matchup proof? Kirk Cousins finally coming around. I don't care who he played. Jarvis Landry going in against a defense that he was scheduled to lose to. Don't care. Michael Crabtree, tough matchup with cornerbacks in the Chargers. Don't care. Melvin Gordon going up against Oakland. Good spot. Kareem Hunt, week in, week out, week in, week out. Don't care. Travis Kelce, one of the better tight ends in football. Don't care. Emmanuel Sanders, yeah, you're dependent upon your quarterback. Thank God you at least had some kind of a day. But I don't care. You run these guys out week in, week in, week in, week in, week in, and week out. And you're Justin Tucker, slow start, had an okay week. Justin Tucker theoretically is the highest point scoring kicker of the year every year. He's in the top 5 usually, so why am I not going to continue to run him out there because he gets me a 0 one week or gets me 2 points another week? He's going to, that just means that as the year goes on, he's going to go on a bigger and bigger and bigger hot streak, a bigger run. So don't bail on your guy. You don't bail on your season-long fantasy. This is where most of us started playing. You don't bail on your season-long fantasy teams in week 5 or in week 6 because they've been sucking. You sit back and you wait for them, for their numbers to average out. Now, there are fundamental things that maybe a guy, isn't going to be as good this year. Like we're going to start worrying about some Packers guys like a Jordy Nelson here real quick with Aaron Rodgers gone. That's a fundamental change to the lineup. But if everything's still going right and Aaron Rodgers is still throwing to Jordy Nelson, do I care if he doesn't score a touchdown in the first 3 weeks? No, because he's going to score 10 or 12 on the year, and it just means he's going to bunch all of those into the final 9 or 10 weeks of the season. That's all it means. You stay with them. Okay, so what does that mean for daily fantasy, and why am I pointing this out? Because generally speaking, your guys that are on the list that are good, Antonio Brown, You know, Drew Brees, okay, suspect, but Todd Gurley is having a good year. Antonio Brown, he's continuing to have a good year. Antonio Brown's there. Kirk Cousins is going to be there. Michael Crabtree is going to be there. A workload back like a Kareem Hunt is going to be there. Travis Kelce is going to be there. These are guys that, in spite of matchups, we talk in DFS and we overanalyze all the time. We got Melvin Gordon versus Todd Gurley. Well, Todd Gurley was in the better matchup. Yeah, Melvin Gordon had the day, but last year you were running Melvin Gordon over Todd Gurley. What's different this time? Tougher matchup, so we lean one way over the other. I'm telling you that in daily fantasy, you should have a similar core like this of guys you're looking for. I'm always looking to roster Antonio Brown if it makes sense. I'm always looking to roster Kirk Cousins if he's at home and he's favored and it makes sense. I'm always looking to roster Michael Crabtree if it makes sense. If he's not on, Xavier Rhodes, I'm going to roster the dude. I'm looking to. Price comes into play with daily fantasy, but generally speaking, your studs, your steady, safe studs, they don't change week to week. Why do we change? Why do we jump around inside the daily fantasy world and play Antonio Brown this week and Julio Jones this week and Brandon Cooks this week and Michael Thomas that week? And it doesn't. Why? Why don't you just? If you really, really, really want good weeks, you're trying to be perfect, and I get that. But if you really want good, solid weeks, you just take Antonio Brown and lock him up every week. Roster him. Build around him. He's a franchise player. He's steady as hell. 30 points. Build around him. Price goes up to where you can't build around him, then maybe you come off of him and you come down to a Crabtree. Build around him. Stick with those steady eddies, all right? That's my tip to you. Let's take a look really quick at week 7, and let's see if we can see anything popping out already. That's tonight's game. 3.47 over under 6.5 points. Cleveland at home. Oh, man. Tennessee's favored going into Cleveland. 6.5 point road favorite speaks. 3-point road favorite. Jacksonville's only a 3-point favorite over Indianapolis. I don't know. Haven't we seen enough of Jacksonville to know that their defense can shut anybody down? Good luck next week, TY. And Fournette's just going to blow the doors off of everything. This number feels wrong. 41 point under. Ugh. 6 points for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati coming to town. Rivalry game. Watch out. Division rivalry game. I mean, everybody's going to be high on Pittsburgh for what they did to Kansas City, but then you got a division foe coming to town, and that's basically what that was last week with Kansas City was a division foe. They play each other a lot. Those two teams know each other in the last 5 games that Pittsburgh has faced Kansas City, whether it was at Arrowhead or not. I mean, they've owned them. So that game was almost a little bit predictable. We thought this year might be different because Kansas City, the highest scoring team in the league right now, or they were, so it looked different, but it turned out it wasn't. I'm telling you, this game here is interesting. 4.5 points, 40-point over under. Yuck. Minnesota, I'm not seeing anything I like so far. 38.5 points. Yuck. Boy, is this feast or famine this year with the NFL or what? The 3-point Buffalo home favorite. Tampa Bay, God, that might be wrong. That game will probably be a low over under, and it'll be a matter of whether or not Tampa Bay can bounce back. Which I don't know if they can. Buffalo's had a good defense so far. Might be an interesting Tyrod Taylor, LaShawn McCoy type day with a week's worth of rest. 41 points, yuck. Chicago and Carolina, not a lot of interest. Although Carolina, it looks like people believe in Cam again. 48, that's the highest total we've seen so far? Jeez Louise. And that's without Rodgers? Ugh. All right, whatever. I don't really see a game yet off first glance that I'm going to have a lot of interest in. This one's another rivalry game. Be interesting to see which way that one comes out. There might be some fantasy goodness in this with a little bit of Carson Palmer. Adrian Peterson's going to get point chased. Gurley at home as a favorite. Should get the ball 20, 25 times. Maybe he gets to the end zone, scores you some points, brings value for his high salary. 6-point road favorite Dallas going into San Francisco. Okay. We'll see what happens with Zeke in that one. Yeah, questionable. Yeah, absolutely. 6-point favorite Seattle with the Giants coming to. Giants apparently travel well on the road. I don't see it going back-to-back weeks. I'm going to like Seattle in that one. But who are they going to run it with? Big questions. Denver, Chargers, rivalry game. Yuck. 54. Here we go. Sunday Night Hammer game, probably. Sunday Night Hammer game, 54-point total. New England, 3 points over Atlanta. Okay, I don't know if this one's going to play to the over because Atlanta's been sucking lately. New England does give up points on defense, though. All right. Well, as I yawn and get ready for my nap, there is your brief synopsis of what we got going on. Like I said before, follow us inside the DFS Army. If you need to, you run out to Twitter, you follow me, you follow the website in my bio, and you come in and you take a look at the DFS Army because I'm telling you, I've just proven its credibility, and I can prove it again next week if you'd like. It's what we do week in and week out. We coach you up and make you a better player. So take a peek. Come on in. We'd love to have you, and we will talk to you later.